Guys, I have a plan to reach success. Prepare to save up a lot of money because we have a lot of things to do. First of all, we need to search for a... Wait, let me show you. To make it big, we have to play at least 200 gigs a year. Maybe it's the case to leave your job. Before we start the live gigs, we definitely need stage outfits. And don't forget a LED wall, roll-ups, backdrops, some stage pyrotechnics, and of course we need a management. All great bands started with a management. We will have to hire a couple of actors for the video, some extras, then we have to pay for the director, for the light technicians, for the assistants, for the location, a hairdresser, 2 makeup artists, 2 assistants, a light engineer, the green screen, the white screen, the black screen, and then we need
Wait, what are you talking about? I mean, take those Frozen Crown guys from Italy, for example. I heard they didn't invest any money in any of that at the beginning. I mean, I saw that on their Q&A on Instagram.
What? You mean Frozen Crown? Don't take that band as an example, they've just been lucky. And they have girls in the band, everything is easier for them. We have to do all these things to get famous. We have to do great investments you won't regret. Believe my words, because I've studied a lot. I know what has to be done to bring the band to the stars.
That short video made with Jade was made to express what is, in my opinion, the biggest mistake young bands do at the beginning. You know, they think they need to replicate exactly what the bigger bands do to get that big. You know, like if we hire a booking agency, a management...
Which kind of losers would we be without a management?
A social media manager and so on, we're definitely going to get famous. The truth is, small bands without a following and big established bands really work differently and they have different needs. Dimmi se tutto ti sembra a posto.
A me sta piacendo molto.
Okay. Most importantly, they have a different budget, so they can actually afford working with professionals, which are definitely useful at that point in their career. But at the beginning, chances are your band is not generating any source of income. And by the way, even if you were rich and were able to actually finance your own band with your own money,
I was thinking about 20,000 euros to start.
Hiring those professionals wouldn't necessarily make you big anyway. What can really help you to make your band succeed are basically 3 things. Having a clear idea in your mind, be curious, and common sense. Now you could ask, but which are the ways to actually make money with a new band with no following? I will definitely explore this in another video, telling about my own experience with Frozen Crown, telling you how we managed to become a self-sufficient band with no initial investment.
Before we go on with the video, remember that you can find this t-shirt, the other t-shirts and also our new album on our official store frozencrown.bigcartel.com. Link in description.
Now let's just go on with things it's not wise to invest your money into at the beginning. Now, before I go on, if you like Frozen Crown, remember to support us by subscribing to this channel and to put a like and a comment below.
Of course, we have to search for the label because every band has a label. And in case we don't get a good deal, prepare to save some money because we will have to pay for that.
If your band is brand new and you're not generating money, the first thing you don't want to do is to pay to sign for a record label. On a side note, if a record label asks you money to sign for them, you've probably found a really bad label. Just wait. Wait and do everything you can do without a label. If you show you can draw some people to listen to your music, if you show you have a good strategy, a nice understanding of your music potential, if you show you're able to manage your resources, and of course you make some good quality music, you'll eventually find a good record label. To make it simple, the best way to find a record label is to show you can do without it. Record labels nowadays are not simply searching for bands with potential. They literally want finished products that just work on their own. Yeah, I have to make a video about record labels in the future because I got asked a lot of time, questions like, do I really need a record label to start a band? So if you want a video about my take on record labels, let me know in a comment below. Now I know you may think, to show a record label we could do without it, we need the help of someone. And this brings us to
a social media manager. How can you do without a social media manager nowadays?
Today there are a lot of people who like to call themselves experts. Like in all things, you need to tell real professionals from random people who just improvise themselves social media experts just because they read a couple of tutorials online. If somebody is telling you he is a social media expert, keep in mind he's an expert in something that next month is probably going to be based on a completely different algorithm and have totally different rules. So unless that person is constantly up to date, you're completely wasting your money. Otherwise, if that person is really up to date, and that means is a serious professional, it really doesn't make sense to invest so much money into this at this point. You can actually approach social networks using common sense. Again, I'm not going in detail here because if you really want it, I'm going to make a video about social networks. So again, if you think you could be interested into this, let me know in a comment. Anyway, let's make something clear here. Having 100 followers who actually read what you write and actually follow you is much better than having 10,000 followers who completely ignore you. Have you ever noticed a lot of bands or people on Instagram or Facebook have got thousands and thousands of followers, but when they make a post, they barely have like 30 likes and 1 or 2 comments? Well, those people either paid to earn followers or used their social networks in such a bad way they actually destroyed their page engagement. Yeah, I know, a lot of people prefer appearance over substance. I understand that. Followers are actually the first thing you see when you visit someone's profile. But trust me, at the beginning, you don't need thousands of followers. So do not trust anybody that promised you it can bring you and your band to that result if you pay him. He's probably going to spend a part of those money to actually buy you followers from the same website you could buy them for the same amount of money and keep the rest of the money for himself. Instead, you want your page to grow slowly and in a healthy way. Remember, if just 10 people fall in love with you and your music, those 10 people are actually 10 potential sold albums. So before giving your precious money to someone, try to simply look around and use logic. So in the era where nobody is reading literally anything and people have the attention span of a 3 years old, what would be better to actually announce your first album release, for example? To write a kilometer-long wall of text, or to try to prioritize and limit informations? Or which kind of photo is going to be more successful? A clear one when human figures are well visible, or a photo like this? Yeah, I know this may sound silly, but I can assure you a lot of bands I know would actually choose the second one because it looks more artistic, or cooler or something. Live shows. Well, this is complicated and I know this is going to get me a lot of hate. Of course, playing a lot of live shows make you and your band better. Makes you a better player, increases cohesion between band members, and generally speaking, makes you grow a lot as a band. The common mistake here is a lot of people think live shows are actually the key to make it big, or even worse, to get noticed.
To get famous, we need to go on tour.
Truth is, especially if you live in Italy in 2021, that live shows won't bring you anything. I mean, literally anything. People nowadays, the listeners, do not go to live shows to actually meet new bands. Nowadays, you get noticed first and then people come to your live shows. Live shows are pretty much a consequence of actually being famous, not otherwise. So it's very important to not invest so much money in live shows if they don't bring you back at least the same amount of money you invested. Live shows are fundamental to grow up as a band, but making sure to not burn up everything you got in live shows, because something strange could happen. Something like something absurd, like a virus that comes and makes it impossible for bands to play live shows for more than a year.
Then we have to search for a booking agency, because every good band has a booking agency.
Just like I said before, if you consider live shows as a way to improve as a band, then a nice booking agency, possibly one that's not asking you money to play in some shitty situations, could be fine. But if you think a booking agency alone is going to make you famous, you're wasting your money and your time. A good booking agency is something extremely useful for an already established band. But if you're at the beginning and you're not concretely generating money through your live shows, either your booking agency is making, charity work, or chances are they really want to steal your money. So, you decided you want to play some shows around with your band. Searching for shows yourself could be very time consuming, but just like live shows at the beginning, it could make you grow a lot. Talking with people, actually realize how the venues work in your country. In general, understanding how the world around you works and meet new people in the business is never a bad investment. I know what you're thinking about. Big artists make a lot of views because they can afford those pricey Hollywood-style music videos. No, this is wrong. Those big artists would make a lot of views regardless of the video budget because they are big. Of course, a video like Deutschland by Rammstein is going to bring them a lot of views also because it's an outstanding video. It's incredible, it's incredibly well made, but that would not be the same if they weren't an established band already. If a brand new band with a lot of money to invest in a video, with little to no followers, made the same exact video, they would literally make the same amount of view they would do with an amateur video filmed with a cell phone. Well, at this point I could reply a lot of things, and I feel again I would need a specific video about this topic because there are really a lot of things to say about it. Pros and Crown have got a specific philosophy about music videos, and I would be happy to share it with you. Once again, if you want a video about how do we make video clips, let me know with a comment. But right now, the first thing I can tell you, and the most important, would be try to be creative. Try to focus on doing the best you can with the very few elements you've got. Nobody says you need
director, assistant, location, lights technician, hairdresser, makeup artist, lights engineer, green screen, white screen, black screen.
Nobody says you can't get noticed with a lo-fi, low budget video, with a zero budget video. Nobody tells you can't get noticed with that. So just try your best, try to be creative. That's really the most important thing. Remember, the amount of money you invest in a video will never ever translate into views. Never. Okay, that was a joke. Remember, we're talking about music here, right? Before the photos, before the videos, even before the live shows comes the music. Music is sacred. So if you have little money to spend, try to save them and invest them in a professional sound engineer to make sure it can draw the best of your music.
Molto bene, Federico!
You can be a one-man band with no photos, no videos, who never play live shows. You can be a studio project, you can be whatever you want, but even in this case you still need professional recordings, a professional mix and a professional mastering. Your music needs to sound at its best. You don't want, for example, to practice guitar for several years just to release an album where the production is so shitty you can't even listen to your guitars properly, you know. And remember, if you record your album at your friend's home studio, you know, your friends would just started recording, mixing, you know, because it was a couple of tutorials on YouTube. Of course, that could be cheaper than a professional studio, but those money are actually wasted money. It's better to spend money, but make them worthy. E qua praticamente pensavo di fare la scenetta che c'è Fusini che sente questa cosa da casa sua e tipo mi fulmina, non so. Ma perché quello che voglio dire, no? Qui stiamo parlando comunque di musica. Cioè, esistono gruppi che hanno fatto dei video con 0 euro, esistono i gruppi che non si fanno le foto, esistono tante cose, però la musica è la musica. Cioè, stiamo parlando comunque di musica, no? Quindi quello che voglio dire alla fine è piuttosto risparmiatevi i soldi e...
Sì.
Just a little note here. You know, professionals are actually pricey. You know, everything has a cost. But it's not always true that the most expensive things are always the best for you and your project. I'm talking mostly with my Italian comrades here. You know, Italian people very often think that if you go in a Scandinavian studio or, you know, if you go record your stuff in a US studio, you're necessarily going to have a better result.
We need to have the master done in Finland because all the most famous bands come from Finland.
You know, there are a lot of extremely skilled and talented producers in Italy, as well as photographers, as well as video makers. It would just be a waste of time and resources to go abroad to record your album or to make a photo set. A lot of people think that hiring a professional automatically translates into something that works for them. Of course, a good professional photographer is going to be extremely skilled and is definitely going to make awesome pics. And most importantly, his work is worth every cent. You know, he studied hard for that and probably spent many years to develop those skills. But if you don't tell him what you want to accomplish, if you don't tell him your own idea, or even worse, you have no idea at all, you're not going to earn anything good from his work. Having a good idea of your music, your band, having a concept in mind is crucial and often more important than how much money you spend. So now that I told you how would I suggest to spend your money as a band, you could ask, yeah, but which are some ways to actually earn money from a new band with little to no following? Again, let's wait for it in the next video.
If you enjoyed this video, put a like, don't forget to share it with your friends and to hit the subscribe button. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram and check out our official store frozencrown.bigcartel.com for some exclusive merchandise. Hope you enjoyed this video. See you next time. Bye!